So, first things first. For anyone watching it, yes, there's a fire alarm beeping in the background. No, I cannot do anything about it. So, you just have to deal with hearing a ceiling bird, like, every however many seconds. And technically a wall bird in this case, but, so, I noticed some stuff talking about Herobrine, and I already tried posting about this before on Reddit, but got barely anything, so I figured I'd go to make a video. I want to talk about something interesting that happened to me about, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. So, first, I need to explain some stuff before I go into this whole thing. When Notch was working on the Enderman, you all know that originally they had green eyes. That actually wasn't the case. I don't think that came through. That actually was not the case. If you go to old screenshots, they actually had white eyes. Now, if you're wondering where I'm going with this, I had made a resource pack that gave them white eyes. And I had, you guys will see where I'm going with this. I have a monitor, 2 monitors. One of them is supposed to be basically like a TV, but I'm using it as a second monitor. The darks on that monitor are pretty dark. In fact, if I had Minecraft opened with the settings I had it set to, nighttime would have been like pitch black on that monitor. So, there was one time I was playing the game. I was using a data pack that I made myself that made the world have custom train generation. It was a snow biome I was in. I did have mods, but it wasn't mods that like added new mobs or anything like that to the game. It was mostly like, I think it was literally just nostalgia tweaks and a mod that added backpacks to the game. And I was using the Golden Days resource pack, and I thought I was using the resource pack I made that gave Enderman white eyes on top of it. So, playing the game. It's nighttime on the game, and I'm trying to build a house. I can only really see stuff that's illuminated by torches because of the monitor it's on. And about probably, it might have been 5 or 6 chunks away, I thought it was an Enderman staring at me. But the eyes themselves, it was like player eyes, which is what it would have had if I was using the resource pack. They were just solid white and glowing, obviously. So yeah, you can't see what's actually there. I assume it's an Enderman because I thought I had the resource pack on. And it's like just staring. It's not like moving. It's not walking around. It's just staring for at least a good couple of seconds. It's on screen for a good couple of seconds because I'm trying to not look directly at it for obvious reasons. So eventually, at some point it disappears. Eventually it gets to daytime. Some point I find an Enderman. And the Enderman had green eyes, which is what Golden Days gives them. I did not have my resource pack on that gave them white eyes like what Notch gave them originally, which means whatever it was that had the glowing white eyes wasn't an Enderman. I have no idea what it was either. I have thought about maybe it was a stray, but there's one problem with that. trays, while they have white eyes, they don't glow. And I know the Golden Days Resource Pack didn't add that because while you can obviously add stuff to resource packs that could, you normally need a mod that then also lets it use that. And I didn't have anything like that installed. I only had like nostalgic tweaks and whatever the mod was that gave backpacks. So nothing that had that ability. And then this is the before I get to this, the other thing too. I thought, well, maybe it could have been stars, just like two perfectly positioned stars going through the trees. Well, one, it would not have made sense because of the angle it was at where I was looking on the game, and the stars are like they're kind of like a silver color. They're not perfect white. The eyes, they were perfect white, and it was literally like player eyes. So it's like, So it couldn't have been that just going through the trees. Plus, if it was that, with it being 5 or 6 chunks away in the distance, that would have made even less sense to begin with for many obvious reasons, because how things start to look at that distance. So, okay, that just ruled out a bunch of different stuff it could have been. And then the other issue is, if it was a mob, mobs don't stare at the player from that distance. They don't do that. And it was staring directly at me. It wasn't just a thing where, it looked like it, it was like directly. Mobs obviously don't do that. Even more with it, the fact it wasn't moving. It was just staying perfectly still. Whatever it was, obviously. Yeah, it's just a very weird thing. It's like the one time I ever had, and it's like, I don't know what it was. It obviously sounds like it could have been Herobrine, but ignoring that thing, there's no explanation of what it was. And I do know there is the White Eyes creepypasta, which it also resembles, which, came before Herobrine. That one technically was real because it was a bug with, like, white pixels, but the difference with the white pixels is that they would only be there for that frame. It's like, as soon as you would move, they'd disappear, and they were tiny, like super, super tiny. Where it was very clearly the thing that was there was like player eyes, and it just stayed there. So it's like, obviously couldn't have been that. And that glitch, technically, it does still exist in the game, but it's, it's very rare because it's a graphical bug that's, they've obviously just, yeah. So yeah, I have no idea what it was when that happened. I wish I knew. The issue is that every single thing I try to look for, it gets shut down by either 1, isn't in the game, 2, doesn't match what's in the game. So it's like, or even with the mods I had, it's like, there's nothing in them that, like, there's only like 2 mods, I'm pretty sure, that they didn't add to anything as far as mobs go. Like, so it's just, there's just no idea of like what it actually was. What I will say though, as far as the Herobrine thing goes, I'll say one funny thing about that. If I remember, I would probably have to double check. I don't feel like checking at the time of recording this. I was on 1.20.2, and it just so happens that's a version missing the removed Herobrine text. So, I mean, that's at least a funny, a funny coincidence thing, obviously. But just ignoring the whole thing with Herobrine, it's like, yeah, I still, like, obviously, if we're going to be real about the whole thing, because, you know, obviously, more than likely it wasn't Herobrine for many obvious reasons. There's no idea what it was. Obviously, resembled what he would have been, though I just don't know what it fully looked like, because the only thing you could see were the eyes, because the nighttime was pitch black and stuff on the game because of the stupid monitor I was playing it on. It makes me wish I had took a screenshot, because if I did, I would have been able to see what it was, or that I was recording. Just anything that would have allowed me to know what it was that was staring at me that apparently wasn't an Enderman like I thought it was originally. Because, like I said, I thought I had that resource pack on that I made, but I apparently didn't. So, yeah. I definitely am wondering, going off topic again, I'm wondering whether or not anyone is even going to see this video, because honestly, if there are people that could try to think of what it could have been, that would be nice, because I actually want to know what it was, because there's no valid, like, proper explanation I'm able to get for what it was currently, because it's like, it literally just all gets shut down by either, well, this doesn't match because, you know, or it's not in the game, whatever it is. So it's like, I just have no idea. I hope everyone will understand everything I've said correctly, because I know it's probably a little bit of a mess. I don't know if I'm going to put editing in this. Yeah. So I guess that's all there is to say. Yeah.